the bad guy in World War II.
Is that Tucker?
Or he's got Dave Smith, being treated as an expert on Israel and Palestine and the history of that conflict and the.
Okay, that's you just lost me, Sam Harris. I have so many criticisms of so many of the people Joe brings on the show and of Joe himself and of the shit they talk about. But one of the best parts is having Dave Smith on to keep Joe Rogan sane and grounded on the issue of Israel and Gaza. In fact, he handpicked probably the single best moments from the Joe Rogan experience within the past 2 years and said, that's the problem, bro. No, it's not. By the way, Dave Smith would cook Sam Harris on a debate about foreign policy, and like I did, and on a debate about Israel-Palestine. It wouldn't even be close. Look, Dave Smith is a libertarian. In my opinion, he's dead wrong on economic issues, right? But on foreign policy issues, depending on the one in question, he's a lot better than Sam Harris is. Sam Harris is an ardent Zionist and a neocon. So, I mean, it'd be good to see them debate it, but clearly he looks down on Dave Smith. Bro, I can't talk to Dave Smith, bro. Dave is right on Israel and Gaza. You are wrong. You are monstrously wrong. So he lost me here.
Emergency that came to the world's attention on October 7th. And what is appropriate to think in the aftermath of all of that, right? Dave Smith is the only reason why anyone knows what Dave Smith thinks about any of this is very likely because Joe had him on multiple times to talk about it, right?
Yeah, he's one of the least bad of the people that Joe has propped up. That's what I would say. Again, I would disagree vehemently with Dave Smith on 50 to 60% of political issues, but on the other 40, he's just leagues better than almost anybody he has on his shitty fucking podcast now.
He's a pure misinformation artist. And
No, that's you. On the issue of Israel and Gaza, that's you. This is Mr. Bro, the fucking Muslim birth rates are too high, bro, and the West is falling, bro. Yeah, you did your whole fucking fear-mongering over Muslims for a fucking decade now. People are past it.
And, on top of many others. And when Joe talks to someone like Trump or Tucker Carlson or, any of these other guys who lie as freely as they breathe and doesn't push back against any of their lies. In fact, in Trump's case, really fairly energetically helped put his lies into the most plausible possible shape.
That is 100% correct. That's what we talked about. Go watch my segment. I covered his talk with Trump. It's pick any asshole mainstream media journalist. They have done a better interview with Trump than Joe Rogan did. Joe Rogan sat there and took it. When Trump said about Hillary, I never said lock her up. I never said lock her up. People in the audience would say lock her up, and I'd say, oh, I don't know about that. Seems a little much. And Joe sat there. He didn't respond. He said, hold on. Wait a second. Jamie, pull that up. See if there's fucking a compilation of it. Because we played the compilations on the show. He said it a gazillion fucking times. He said lock her up countless. It was one of his campaign slogans. There was MAGA and drain the swamp, and then lock her up was chanted all the time, and he would say it too. And he was one of the things Rogan said to him was oh, make your case on why you think 2020 was stolen. I'll move out of the way and let you make the full argument, unlike the people in the media who will cut you off. Yeah, when the people in the media cut him off, it's because he's fucking lying, and they're you're fucking lying, and here's how we know you're lying. Rogan made it seem virtuous to let him lie about that in front of everybody. I mean, it was just pathetic. It was just absolutely fucking pathetic. He did no homework for it. He didn't know the first fucking thing. I love how he asked Trump, hey man, did you make mistake in your first term when you invited in the neocons to be in your administration? And he posed it this good faith, that was a mistake, wasn't it? You're not going to make that same mistake this time. And it's anybody who's well-versed on this shit would know. Number one, it wasn't a fucking mistake. Number two, it wasn't just the neocons. Trump himself is a warmonger. Number three, immediately after Trump got back in office, he invited 17 more neocons in. And now he's warmongering more than George W. Bush and Dick Cheney ever, right? When you're threatening Greenland, you're threatening Canada, you're threatening Panama on top of Gaza, on top of Iran, Mexico. You're a way bigger warmonger than even George W. Bush is. And Rogan sat there, took him at good faith, all the bullshit online about oh, Trump's anti-war, bro. Oh, really? He's anti-war? Is that why he broke the drone strike record in his first term and increased it 432%? Is that why he kept us in Iraq and Afghanistan? Is that why he said we're occupying Syria to take the oil? Is that why he gave Israel the Golan Heights and said, I know it's Syrian territory, but it's yours now? Is that why he ripped up the Iran agreement and he bombed Qasem Soleimani? Like, it drives me crazy, man. So on this one, Sam Harris is 100% correct. Joe has no idea what the fuck he's talking about. He's massively in over his head. He's in this friend group of right-wing idiots. They all convinced him, oh, you got to endorse Trump, and Trump is base, bro. Trump is base, bro. And now he owns everything. He owns all of it. The other day, he was like, you know, bro, I'm lefty on some things, right-wing on other things. I believe in, like, universal health care and stuff, bro. I believe in socialized medicine, bro. He said that on his show the other day. Meanwhile, he said fucking dick when the House Republicans just passed a bill to cut Medicaid, which is healthcare for poor people, $880 billion, which would destroy Medicaid and make it so we basically don't even fucking have it anymore. Stealing healthcare from tens of millions of Americans casually with a vote through Congress, and he said fuck all about it. So spare me with your in theory, hypothetically, I kind of support these things, bro. Meanwhile, every actual decision you make in this real world that impacts people, you're consistently on the wrong side, sucking off J.D. Vance, sucking off Donald Trump. Give me a break.
It is irresponsible. I mean, it is directly harmful. Our society is as politically shattered as it is, in part because of how Joe has interacted with information.
It's true. It's all vibes. It's all vibes. It's all vibes. And the thing is, vibes got me in that room, and I was able to try to speak sense for a while. But, you know, the vibes of the ascendant right-wingers online sort of captured him. And he felt like, this is cool, bro. We're part of something bigger than ourselves. And we all like to beat on fucking woke college campus kids who don't like comedy, bro. And he just got swept up in all that.
Again, I don't think this is, I think a lot of this is inadvertent.
True.
Or maybe, you know, all of it's inadvertent.
I tend to agree with Sam on this. I know some people say, like, no, I think he's literally just bought off. And to the extent that you consider the 100 million or however much it is from Spotify being bought off, in that sense, it's undeniable because he literally took like over $100 million from Spotify. Like, he is corporate media, regardless of how he virtue signals, like, I'm independent media, I'm new media. No, you're not. No, you're just not, right? But in terms of what does he think? I think in his own mind, he thinks, I'm just honestly navigating through all these issues in real time, but he went down a lot of fucking horrible rabbit holes and ended up with preposterously stupid positions.
But it is also avoidable, right? He could actually take the responsibility that really is his to take at this point to get his facts straight and have someone other than Jamie there riding shotgun with him. Where, I mean, he could have two brilliant journalists whose full-time job, he could pay each of them $1 million a year just to sit there and make sure he doesn't put his foot in his mouth in a colossally irresponsible way.
Here's the thing, Sam. He's all about the vibes. He's all about the vibes, and nothing would throw off the vibe faster than an asshole like me fact-checking in the room where I'm like, hold on, Joe, that's not true. You're talking about Hunter Biden's corruption or Joe Biden's corruption. Here's how Trump is way more corrupt. Here's how much money he's taken. Here's the deal with the Saudis. Here's, like, nothing would kill the vibe faster, and what he prioritizes the vibes over everything else because he's a comedian. He's an entertainer. It's all about, like, bro, we're just shooting the shit. We're just comedians shooting the shit. Bro, you can't take our word seriously. But then he commands a fucking army of people who take his word seriously. And so, in theory, in principle, what he's saying would be good. Somebody be there to be like, that's not true, that's not true, that's not true. But how quickly would the audience turn on that person and be like, fuck this person, get them out of the room. They're fucking the vibe up. And that's part of the problem, is that we live in, like, a vibes-based order. And so that's why a lot of people looked at Trump and thought, oh, he feels like he's authentic and he tells the truth. Meanwhile, he lies more than any politician in fucking human history. But since he feels like he's telling the truth, bro, that's good enough, right? And so that's the problem. Joe would never do what you're talking about here. And if he were to do what you're talking about here, I think his podcast will become even less popular. So it's just a matter of, at this point, there is no hope for Rogan. It's about winning the information warfare against these people, against the Joe Rogans, against the Daily Wires, against the Steven Crowders, against the Candace Owens, against the right-wing slop, Tim Pools, et cetera, et cetera. It's about against the Fox News and the Newsmax and the One American News. That's what it is. This is an information war. And for too long, the left and liberals have sort of really been hands-off or just doing their own thing while the right runs circles around them on social media and gains bigger followings. And now it's time to take the fucking gloves off and expose these people for what they fucking are. They're liars, they're con men, they're frauds, they're freaks, they're losers. They believe wildly unpopular things. Their policies will ruin people's lives. And that's what it's time to say. So no, there will be no fact checker in the room